Good afternoon. Welcome. My name is Ellen Goodman Miller. I'm chair of your board of directors, and I will preside over today's meeting. I hereby call to order the 76th annual membership meeting of Dupaco Community Credit Union. At this time, I'd like to introduce my fellow board members of the Credit Union Board of Directors. I request that directors please stand when I call your name. Steve Chapman, Vice Chair, Denise Dolan, Jeff Goner, Ron Myers, Renee Poppy, Bob Wethel, Andy Schrader, Treasurer, and Randy Skemp, Secretary. Mr. Secretary, please note 9 directors are present. Mr. Secretary, do we have a quorum of the membership?
Madam Chair, 21 members are necessary to constitute a quorum. I hereby declare that a quorum is present.
Thank you. Thank you. I would like to welcome everyone here to our annual 76th annual meeting of the membership. I also want to welcome those of you who are joining in remotely. This event setup allows us to join in person here at the Grand River Center in Dubuque while also welcoming those tuning in remotely online at a location that works best for them. We're glad to have you all here. Thank you for your participation in your credit union. As chair, I can have the minutes of last year's annual meeting membership meeting read, or if you so desire, we can suspend the reading of last year's meeting minutes, and I would entertain a motion to do so. We have a motion and a second to suspend the reading of last year's annual membership meeting minutes. All in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed say nay. Motion carries. Are there any additions or corrections to last year's minutes? And if none, the minutes stand approved as read. As a democratic member-owned cooperative, each credit union member gets one equal say in their organization. One member, one vote, no matter how much money a member has deposited in the cooperative. Dupaco was once again able to provide an option where members could choose how they voted with either a paper ballot or an online ballot. Bob Wethel will now present the nominating committee report.
Good afternoon. Dupaco Community Credit Union is governed by a 9-person board of directors. Each is elected by you, the member, to serve a 3-year term. As one of the 9 directors, I am confidently saying that we are proud to be elected by you. We take our roles to represent each and every one of our 170,000 plus members very seriously, to ensure that we are always in line with delivering a one Dupaco experience. Our mission, our vision, our values are what guide us to ensure our board and staff are represented every member of our credit union all the time. Each director bears personal liability. As an officer of the credit union, spends time on one or more committee, completes hours of training, and as the credit union nomination committee, Denise Dolan, Jeff Goner, and I call for applications from the membership October of 2024. We have collected and evaluated qualified candidates. After deliberation, the full board has affirmed 3 nominees as a slate of candidates for your consideration. They will fill the expired terms of Mr. Ron Myers, Mr. Steve Chapman, and Ms. Renee Poppy. As many of you saw when you voted, whether you chose to vote online at dupaco.com or requested a paper ballot, 2 incumbents expressed a desire to run again, in addition to a new candidate. After review, the nominations committee has determined the most qualified candidates to fill the open positions are Mr. Ron Myers, Mr. Antonio Mozan, and Ms. Renee Poppy. The 3 nominees are very qualified to serve Dupaco and the credit union movement. The incumbents have exemplary attendance records both in committee and regular board meetings. Each candidate has talent and the ability to fulfill this position. To provide all members the opportunity to participate in the credit union and vote on their board of directors, members are able to vote online or by mail starting January 9th, 2025 through February 13th of 2025. An official election notice was included in members' January statements and emails inviting all members to vote for the board of directors. Both the online and paper ballots included the candidates' names and biographies. Providing an online and paper option to vote, we continue to see a record number of Dupaco members participate in their financial cooperative's democratic process. Thank you for exercising your ownership's responsibility. Dupaco Board of Directors approved working with trusted credit union partner, Credit Union Executive Society, to count and verify ballots. At the close of the election, Credit Union Executive Society provided the election committee comprised of current Dupaco members' election results. The committee is chaired by Ms. Selu Arial. Thank you for your service, Ms. Arial. At this time, I'd like to invite Ms. Arial to provide the election results.
Thanks, Bob. The Credit Union Executive Society has counted all received ballots and certified the vote. Per regulation, the credit union will retain all voting materials for a period of 60 days. Each of the 3 candidates have been elected by the membership. Congratulations, Mr. Ron Myers, Mr. Antonio Mozan, and Ms. Renee Papi.
Thank you, Selu. This concludes the nominating committee's report to the membership.
Thanks, Bob. And congratulations to Ron, Antonio, and Renee. And thanks, Bob, for your report, and Selu for the election results. Mr. Antonio Mozan, please stand and be recognized by the membership. Welcome to Dupaco Community Credit Union Board of Directors. We look forward to you taking oath and officially joining the Credit Union Board of Directors at the reorganizational meeting following this annual meeting. You may have also noticed that longtime director Steve Chapman's name was not on the ballot this year. After 37 years, 12 full terms of diligent, dedicated, and compassionate service, Steve has decided to retire from the board, wind down his board commitment, and go on his next adventure. I'd like to welcome Director Janice Dolan for a special presentation.
Thank you, Madam Chair. At this time, I would like to ask Mr. Steve Chapman to stand. Whereas Steve Chapman served as an elected member of the Board of Directors of Dupaco Community Credit Union from December 1988 until his retirement at the conclusion of his 12th full term of board service on February 23, 2025. And whereas Steve has been a steadfast, dedicated, and highly influential member of the Board of Directors, serving in virtually all committee capacities over his 37 years of volunteer service, including his prominent roles on the Asset Liability Management Committee, Personnel and Salary Savings Committees, and as board chair from 1991 to 93, and also from 2003 to 4. And whereas through his early professional work experience with the Dubuque Packing Company and later FDL Foods, and his wife Sue's impactful employment with Dupaco, Steve developed a deep understanding and appreciation for the history and roots of the credit union. Grounded in the past, Steve also recognized the importance of moving the credit union forward in a proactive yet conservative fashion, embracing the change he deemed necessary for the betterment of the credit union and its members. And whereas, as Steve's professional journey led him into executive leadership within the insurance industry as Chief Operating Officer of Oxyant, his deep understanding of and skilled expertise within the employee health insurance field provided the Board of Directors with expert insights in making critical decisions that wisely conserved yet leveraged organizational resources while delivering exceptional value to the credit union team members who serve our valued members. And whereas, as a passionate advocate for the entire credit union movement, who recognized that trust services were a missing yet vital part of meeting member financial needs. Steve was a founding member of First Community Trust, an entity that provides trust and investment services to Dupaco members, as well as other credit unions across the country. And whereas, competitive by nature, Steve's skilled athletic background forged his resolve to build teamwork and alignment amongst the board of directors for heightened performance, yet he was always willing to ask the tough questions and challenge leadership to broaden perspectives with an eye on continuous improvement and creating more impactful outcomes for our members. And whereas, with a warm and engaging personality and a logical, straightforward, and unassuming leadership style, Steve is skilled at pairing his passion for service with a timely sense of humor during instances of lively debate. Humble by nature, he has served with great diligence and dignity and deemed it was an honor to long represent the member owners of his beloved credit union as an elected member of the board of directors. Therefore, the Dupaco Community Credit Union Board of Directors has adopted this resolution for presentation to J. Stephen Chapman and incorporation into the minutes of the 76th annual meeting of the membership held on February 23rd, 2025 in Dubuque, Iowa. On behalf of the membership and the board of directors, thank you, Steve.
Thank you so much, Denise, and thank you, Steve. As a result of Steve's 37 years of exemplary service to Dupaco, the Board of Directors have also moved to confer upon him the title of Honorary Board Member. An Honorary Board Member is the highest honor bestowed upon a director by the credit union. Congratulations, and thank you so much once again, Steve, for your amazing service. We invite you to say a few words.
Thank you. And probably the first thing I would say is I love they used an old picture of me without the gray hair. But it's been an honor and a privilege and a pleasure to serve this membership. I don't know that there's many better organizations in the whole country, especially from a credit union perspective. So I'm glad to have been a part of that, and to serve with an outstanding board, outstanding management team, outstanding staff, and a terrific membership that really, you are what makes Dupaco Dupaco. And I would say, I learned decades ago that life is not about knocking people down, but life is about raising people up. And that's what Dupaco does. They raise people up, and that's why I'm so proud to have been a part of it and be a part of that organization. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Steve. The reorganizational meeting will be today following this annual meeting of the membership, at which time all directors will take the oath of office. I'd like to thank my fellow directors for executing their responsibility for planning and making the critical decisions necessary to keep the credit union meeting the financial needs of the membership, acting in good faith, and using sound business judgment. These directors all contribute countless hours of dedicated service to Dupaco. They continually seek out educational opportunities to keep abreast of new regulations and products and services to meet member needs. I will now offer my report. Again, my name is Ellen Goodman Miller. I'm very honored to preside as board chair during your credit union's 76th annual meeting of the membership. Dupaco was founded on the key principles of thrift, access to affordable credit, and the ability of members to own and control their money, all on a democratic basis. The goal of the 10 meatpacking workers back in 1948 who formed Dupaco was to improve the economic and social conditions of the members, and they did that. Today, so many decades later, we've expanded from that group of 10 co-workers seeking to build a brighter future to a network community, both online and at locations across the Midwest, of more than 170,000 credit union members. And today, I'm so pleased to report that your credit union continues to make a positive difference in the lives of our members. Our primary goal from day one, to improve the economic and social conditions of members, remains as true as ever. We're so proud of this. It's the guiding star behind our strategy and the heart of the decisions that we make. In 2024, we provided over 12,000 members one-on-one guidance, teaching them how to build credit, pay less, and save more through our free credit history lessons and money makeovers. We also know that our living arrangements can deeply affect our financial lives, our access to resources and wealth, and overall happiness. So we're proud to have helped 411 members buy their first homes in the past year. This was an increase of 89% over the previous year. Our team is dedicated to researching, testing, and implementing strategies to help you plan for the future, enhance your savings, and gain important insights. We know empowering you with knowledge and tools enables you to reach your financial goals and uplifts your well-being. And members are using these tools. Tools like calculators on Dupaco.com, which were used almost 23,000 times, and tools that empower you with knowledge through our educational resources, like our blogs, on-demand webinars, and rates. Those resources were viewed over 367,000 times this past year. It's exciting to see that you're putting your knowledge to work. In 2024, there were over 43,000 you name it savings accounts, helping members plan ahead and budget for their goals. We continue to develop new tools, some of which we're currently testing that will soon be launched. But our impact doesn't stop when you leave a branch or log off of Shine or Dupaco.com. We continue to reach members in our communities across the Midwest. Our community outreach and education team delivered free financial wellness programs, including one-on-one coaching, financial education, and on-demand webinars to 1,191 businesses around Iowa, southwestern Wisconsin, and northeastern Illinois. In 2024, this team brought the credit union to 1,104 businesses and conducted 166 educational sessions, and they do this first, second, and third shift. Dupaco employees are volunteering their time and talents to causes they care about in communities across the region. And the Dupaco Foundation, which you'll hear more about from Randy Skimp a bit later, along with the credit union, share a commitment of improving economic and social conditions. Here's a short video to see our impact in action.
Since 1948, Dupaco has continued a tradition of cooperation and mutual self-help. We're a group of people, employees, members, and community, connecting with a shared purpose to make an impact. We're difference makers, and we're lending a hand with a mission to build a life worth loving.
We get volunteer time off, or VTO, throughout the year, where we can use it during work hours, go volunteer for a place in our community. The goal is to help people build a life worth loving, right? And when they come into the branch, we're here to help, we're here to listen. We have great resources that we can offer, but it doesn't stop there. Dupaco loves us giving back to our communities, and I think that's so powerful.
Through partnerships and grant programs like Dupaco's Gift of Innovation, nonprofit organizations continue to thrive, increasing their capacity for greater impact in their community.
Dupaco's Gift of Innovation will help Centrally Rooted by allowing us to develop those really important strategic relationships, not only once, but in an ongoing way, to ensure that we're reaching our goals and staying on track for all of the goals and visions that we develop.
While Dupaco and its employees uplift nonprofits, the Dupaco Foundation, inspired by the legacy of retired Dupaco CEO Bob Hafer, continues to strengthen the well-being of our communities. The foundation is helping make the dream of home ownership a reality with down payment assistance and supporting important housing initiatives like Habitat for Humanity.
We're going to be building 6 homes in 2025 behind the Mount Pleasant retirement home. We will be able to build up to 14 single-family homes. The Dupaco Foundation has generously partnered with us. We will move on to the next build, and the next, and the next, and the next.
With a focus on upskilling, the foundation supports students through college scholarship programs and connects youth and adults with the resources, tools, and education to help achieve their dreams and goals. Every day, unforeseen life events happen to hardworking folks. This can threaten their financial well-being. We're able to provide support, empowering them to get back on their feet, overcome their challenges, and increase opportunities for financial stability. We're working hard to make an impact, and together, we're working toward our vision of brighter community for all.
It's inspiring to be part of the positive change that is building our communities. One difference, just like Bob mentioned in his nomination report, is the individuals who serve on the credit union's board of directors are democratically elected by the membership. Each member has one vote, no matter how much money he or she has in the credit union. The Dupaco board and our over 600 employees are extremely committed to our mission. As member advocates, they demonstrate a genuine focus for the overall financial sustainability of the membership, the cooperative, and our community. They're such a dedicated group. I'm honored to join them in service to you. As a cooperative, we're all in this together. Dupaco's success is directly tied to how much members like you engage with us. So if we've made a positive difference in your lives, in your financial life, please spread the word to your family, your friends, and your neighbors. I can confidently say, on behalf of the board and staff, when someone fully utilizes all that Dupaco offers, it benefits everyone. Members helping members, sharing knowledge on how to get ahead and stay ahead. And as I mentioned earlier, it also boosts overall well-being and quality of life, which is something that we can all value and appreciate. So here's to your enthusiastic support of your credit union in 2025. On behalf of your board and staff, thank you. This credit is all yours.
You have heard the report of the chair. I declare the report received.
Jeff Gunner will now present the report of the Audit Committee.
Thank you, Ellen. Good afternoon. The Audit Committee includes Dupaco board members Denise Dolan, Ron Myers, and myself. I act as the committee chair. I thank my fellow committee members for their dedicated work this past year. The role of your Audit Committee is to ensure that the highest degree of integrity is maintained in operations and that your credit union is performing in accordance with all policies and procedures. This is accomplished through an ongoing series of checks and balances. In 2024, an examination was conducted by both the State of Iowa Division of Credit Unions and the National Credit Union Administration. This audit reviewed our financial statements, security standards, and adherence to regulations, policies, and procedures. These state and federal government agencies again affirmed our strong results. In addition, the accounting firm of RSM LLP was contracted to perform the independent certified public accountant audit of the credit union's 2023 financial statements, as well as its compliance with federal regulations and management practices. We are pleased to report that RSM LLP concluded that Dupaco's financial statements were presented fairly in all material respects and conform to the accounting principles generally accepted in the United States of America. This shows that without exception, your financial house is in order. As a result of the comprehensive audits and the findings of the committee, it is our opinion and that of the regulators that all financial statements fairly and accurately reflect the financial condition of Dupaco Community Credit Union. This concludes the Audit Committee's 2020 report to the membership.
Thank you, Jeff. I ask for a motion to approve the report. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please vote aye. Aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Thank you. Joe Hearn will now present the President's report.
Thank you, Ellen. Hello, and thank you once again. I want to extend my appreciation to each and every one of you for attending your credit union's annual meeting. And I want you to just take a minute to think back when and where you first joined Dupaco. For some of you, it may have been last year, 5 years ago, 10 years ago. For others, it could be 25 or 50 or more years ago. However long you've been a part of Dupaco, I just want to thank you, each and every one of you, for trusting in your financial cooperative. I want to tell you, it's a real honor and a privilege to serve you. You know, we think back about those 10 meat packers back in 1948, who got together to charter the credit union. They were all driven by the philosophy of people helping people. And they wanted to make a difference in the lives of their coworkers, want to help them buy their first homes, grow their wealth, ensure financial confidence and peace of mind. And I assure you all that even after 76 years, the founding members remain present and provide us with daily reminders of our mission, which is to help members build a life worth loving. In fact, this large photo you see is prominently displayed near my office on a wall in our headquarters, the Dupaco Voices building. Your credit union is more than local. We're a community of over 170,000 members strong. And just as your and my financial needs have changed since we opened our accounts at Dupaco, the needs and the expectations of our members continue to change as well. That's why we must continue to evolve to ensure we are delivering a full range of products and services, both in person and digitally, all designed to help improve your financial well-being. And at your credit union, take pride in the fact that we're truly full service. You can save, you can borrow, you can invest, you can insure, and trust. As members build savings, and when you honor us with your hard-earned deposits, rest assured, we continue to work hard to consistently pay above market rates. And what's more, the money you deposit is recycled locally amongst your fellow members. We're lending your deposits to your family, your friends, your neighbors for homes, education, vehicles, businesses, and more. Beyond offering better overall rates and fewer fees, we want members to feel capable, confident, and less stressed about their money. And we're achieving this through thoughtful investments in tools and resources designed to help educate members and put them on a path to a more secure financial future. When you look in your impact report, you'll see that over 60,000 members took charge of their credit score and used our free Bright Track credit score monitoring tool. And over 81% of those members who stuck with that tool for over a year boosted or held steady their credit score range. And in this 24/7 world, we also continue to invest in technology delivery channels to provide you safe, secure, and convenient ways to access your accounts. Now, some of you may prefer to visit us at our 23 branch locations. Others, maybe you prefer to access your accounts online through our digital channels like Shine Online Banking, our live video teller machines, or Ray. These channels provide you with extended access and service hours, and what they do is allow our staff more time to connect with you to engage in deeper conversations about your monies and goals. In fact, this past year, our live video tellers provided nearly 169,000 transactions, and thousands of these were done beyond traditional office hours. And Ray, our digital phone assistant, stepped in and answered over 57,000 calls and provides phone support to you and all members 24/7, 365. And your credit union sent out over 33 million text messages, helping you keep you informed with custom activity alerts and two-step verification codes for Shine logins. This ensures you securely receive real-time account information, no matter what time of the day or night you want to access your accounts. We're also proud to be investing in our employees. Last year, Dupaco team members received over 20,000 hours in training. It's about 33 hours per employee. Team Dupaco members are empowered to confidently support, encourage, and educate members, and others have noticed. In fact, in 2024, we were praised nationally by CBS News for our proactive approach to fraud prevention. You'll see in this photo, Dupaco's Vice President of Fraud Services, Jill Gogol, was interviewed by Chief Correspondent and Executive Editor Jim Axelrod for a CBS Morning News segment, Anything for Money, Inside America's Scam Epidemic. Jill discussed Dupaco's daily efforts to protect members, including regular employee training, educational blogs, and newsletter articles, all designed to arm employees and members with knowledge to identify and prevent fraud. And in 2024 alone, employee vigilance prevented nearly 6.8 million in member fraud losses. I also encourage you personally, each and every one of you, to be on guard, and please know that Dupaco will never reach out to you via text or phone call to access confidential information. Your credit union, Dupaco, is strong, but you don't have to take my word for it. In 2024, Dupaco was recognized by Bauer Financial once again for being one of the country's strongest financial institutions, their 5-star rating. We're also recognized by Forbes magazine as the best in-state credit union. And we were listed as a nation's top 250 credit union by Newsweek magazine. And these are all testaments not only to our strength as your financial cooperative, but also to the connections our team members have with our members. There's no better place to feel more confident and calm about your finances and your well-being than at Dupaco. And I want to tell you, it's heartening for me to hear the stories of how our team is able to help and support members, no matter where they may be in life. Stories like member Lori Sordahl, who's pictured on page 6 of the impact report you have before you. Lori worked with our team in Madison to help rebuild her credit score and get her finances back on track. She says she feels safe in Dupaco's hands because she knows we have her back. And members like Ben and Grace, this young couple worked with Dawn Kress in preparation to buy their first home in Dyersville. But I want to tell you, their story began when Ben was much younger, learning to save and planning for the future. And here they are to tell us more about their story.
Not a whole lot of kids our age able to afford a house, buy a house. I'm 21. I just turned 21 in November.
And I'm 21 as well, and I turned 21 in August.
I have been a member of Dupaco Credit Union since I was like 5, maybe. My mom started a savings account for me there when I was real young. Dawn, she's been friends with my mom ever since I can remember.
Dawn from Dupaco, she is amazing.
She's always been the one to help me with anything I ever needed in the credit union. We'll get my truck loan, pretty much everything. Credit card, savings account. She helped with the mortgage a little bit too. Oh, I just have always saved most of my money ever since I started working when I was like 13, 14. I started with my dad back when I was 13. He was doing construction, and I'm still working for Mark Redeker Construction. I worked hard enough for my money to know, like, oh, I don't want to just go blow it on, video games or whatever, which I did some of, average kid stuff, but I just tried to save as much money as I could.
So I work for Neumeister Animal Hospital, going to appointments and help hold the animal, making sure everyone's safe so they can get their vaccinations and their blood drawn and everything.
We got 2 dogs, a cat, 2 lizards, and a fish tank that we don't have here yet. My dog was my sister's dog.
I rescued my dog from the Humane Society.
And then our cat, my dad actually saved him from my boss's shop. They found him. He was just about froze to death.
They kind of came to us.
Yeah, we've always had animals at my parents' place.
And then with the lizards, that's kind of my thing.
This house came up. We weren't even really looking for a house, really.
No, I just kind of pushed you a little bit.
She wanted to buy a house.
I kept looking at houses.
Then my coworker, he lives right down the street a little ways, he's like, showed me this house was coming up for sale, and then came and checked it out.
I just really liked the location and having the 2 dogs too. It was really important, so that's why it kind of drew me, because we have a decent yard and stuff in the back. Everything can come together instead of having to be at separate places.
It was exciting.
I think I was,
definitely a little bit of nervousness in there. I mean, being first-time homeowners, I don't know.
I was stunned.
A whole lot about.
I just remember laying there and being like, are you sure we can afford this? Like, I am so nervous right now. Like, I've never seen this much money. Dawn, she helped us feel more comfortable with having that and being able to pay it off in our future too. I just feel like she gives us that comfortable fine line of it's gonna be okay, you guys are more than capable of doing it, kind of a thing.
Work as hard as you can, save up money and invest it.
You gotta know how to work your money and have it help you and grow and not be scared to ask those questions on how to do so. Dupaco is really good about getting you where you need to be in.
Getting the loan and buying a house, they made it fairly easy to do that.
They're willing to guide you with every step of the way. Dupaco Credit Union was able to get us our dream house and be able to bring us something so priceless in a sense. They've just been amazing.
Thanks to Ben and Grace for sharing their story. And Dawn. Dupaco is led by our 9-person board of directors, who are your elected voice of the membership. And I want to tell you, I'm grateful for their strong and strategic guidance, ensuring a one Dupaco experience for all members. Their dedication and commitment is inspiring, and their willingness to bear personal liability is truly admirable. And that's why I'm especially pleased that a recent change in Iowa law now allows them to receive nominal compensation so justly earned for their countless hours of dedicated service. And I mean countless hours. I appreciate all they do. And Ellen, thank you for your leadership as chair of the board. Wonderful job. And of course, I'd be remiss if I didn't give a special shout out to retiring board member Steve Chapman. Steve, thank you for your guidance, mentorship, and support over our many, many years together. We're going to be missing you, and now I guess I don't have to let you win at golf. So anyway. I also want to welcome to the board our new board member, Antonio Mozan. Antonio, I very, very much look forward to working with and for you and our entire board in service to the members. You are going to bring great value to this board. Thank you. As I wrap this up, and you're like, okay, thank goodness. To the entire Dupaco crew, please stand if you're with us here today. A lot of them are already standing. I just want to shout out thank you to these fine folks, to our team members watching online, and to all Team Dupaco members for their continued dedication and service of mission of service to our members. And I want to tell you, I'm exceptionally proud of the efforts of these fine folks put forward in service to our members on a day-to-day basis. And I say it every year, gang, and I get emotional, but I love these team members. I love them, and I'm very proud of the way they serve members with heart and smart. They really do an exceptional job. Appreciate them. And team, what I'd like you to do now is give an enthusiastic round of applause back to our valued member owners gathered here today and online for their support and for offering us such a great place to work. Dupaco is great, so thank you all members. All right? There you go. We're one Dupaco. We continue to work towards our vision of a brighter community for all. So I thank all of our valued members for participating in your financial cooperative. And I want you to know you are appreciated. So onward and upward. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe, for your report and for your leadership. I declare the report received, and I invite Renee Poppy to come up now and present the Credit Committee report.
Thank you, Ellen. Members of the 2024 Credit and Delinquent Loan Committee included Steve Chapman, Bob Wethel, Matt Dodds, Jill Schweikert, and myself, Renee Poppy. It was an honor to chair this committee during the credit union's 76th year of service. I offer you a summary of exceptional loan results detailed in the annual report. For those attending in person, you were handed one when you arrived today. Those watching online, you can click the link near the chat to download your copy. I'm happy to report that during 2024, Dupaco continued its focus on helping more members through smart and reasonable borrowing. We produced terrific results and many enthusiastic and grateful members. Credit union staff approved more than 43,000 loans. Total loan disbursements were $1 billion. As of December 31st, 2024, total outstanding loans stood at $2.3 billion. The 2024 loan figure represents 86 cents for $1 of member savings. Yes, your credit union continues to have plenty of money to lend. Please encourage your family and friends to first consider Dupaco for their borrowing needs. Our delinquency figure remains in line with national averages. This is a tribute to the loyalty of our members and the outstanding efforts of our staff, who proactively work with members confronted with difficult financial circumstances during the year. We congratulate and we thank our business, real estate, and consumer loan and member solutions teams for their exceptional effort this past year. We also want to thank you for your business and look forward to being of additional service throughout 2025. This concludes the Credit and Delinquent Loan Committee's 2024 report to the membership.
Thank you, Renee. I declare the report received. Mr. Secretary, is there any unfinished business?
There is no known unfinished business.
Dupaco is built on a legacy of service from exemplary individuals. I want to give a special thank you and recognize past Dupaco directors whose name you see on the screen. Are there any past Dupaco directors present here today? If there are, please stand. Steve, these former directors built the foundation for the success of Dupaco, and we strive to continue to continue the success that they started. Excuse me. Thank you so much for your service. The Dupaco Foundation was established in 2011 to honor the retirement of 47-year employee and longtime Dupaco Community Credit Union President and CEO Robert Bob Hafer. I invite Foundation Board Chair Randy Skimp to provide a brief update on the organization's recent activities.
On behalf of the Dupaco R.W. Hafer Foundation Board, thank you for the opportunity to provide a brief update to the Dupaco membership. The Dupaco Foundation is a standalone 501c3 organization with a charitable purpose. Established in 2011 to honor the retirement of 47-year employee and longtime Dupaco president and CEO Robert W. Bob Hafer, it is designed to carry on Bob's tradition of providing financial assistance and coaching to help hardworking people recover from unforeseen life events and to increase the opportunity for financial stability. In addition to my position as Foundation Board Chair, my fellow Foundation Board members include Andy Schrader, Bob Hafer, Joe Hearn, and Danielle Groton. The Foundation assets currently stand at more than $9 million. In 2024, Dupaco employees contributed $62,079 to the Foundation, and I thank our employees for their commitment to the Foundation. Since its inception, more than $3.1 million has been dispersed, most often funding in the areas of financial empowerment and education, aligning with our focused areas of affordable housing and home ownership, upskill, reskilling, and a small business development. By being a member of your cooperative, you're already part of a great giving impact and legacy the Foundation has created. If you would like to further support the Foundation's mission, we invite you to consider making a contribution. You can learn more at www.dupaco.com/foundation. Thank you for everyone who has already contributed. We appreciate it. Madam Chair, on behalf of the Dupaco Foundation Board, thank you for this time. This concludes my report.
Thank you, Randy. As we close, I extend a special thank you to the Annual Meeting Committee for all your incredible efforts, and thank you also to Wired Productions Group for their help today with this event. Thanks to all of you who have joined us for our annual meeting. I would now entertain a motion for adjournment. A motion is required, a second, and a vote. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor say aye. Those opposed? Motion carries. I declare the 76th Annual Meeting of Dupaco Community Credit Union adjourned. Before we get ready for lunch, though, we do want to take some time for door prizes. So we put everyone who filled out a slip when you arrived today in for this.
Welcome to Dupaco members. My name is Mark Hoagland. I'm Senior Vice President of Wealth Management and Insurance Services for Dupaco Credit Union. I want to thank you for attending the Dupaco annual meeting and for attending this special annual meeting presentation. I'm joined today by one of our fine financial advisors, Terry Belkin, and we are going to be tackling the topic of retirement income planning, which is, needless to say, a very important topic. It's one that we get a lot of questions about. It's a topic that our financial advisors address on a daily basis. And I'm thrilled to have Terry with us today. Terry is a certified financial planner, and he's an expert in retirement income planning. So Terry, welcome.
Thank you.
Why don't we start by telling the members about yourself, Terry, and maybe a little bit about why you became a financial advisor?
Sure. I've always had an interest into investments in the stock market. Coming out of college, I just had a general business degree. And over time, I just wanted to learn more. I just wanted to learn more. And so there was an ad for a company that was looking for an investment advisor. So I applied, and they got me licensed. And so it was just more of just interest in wanting to learn more.
Sure. And a little bit about maybe your family and your interests?
Yeah. So my wife and I, Jolene, recently celebrated our 25th anniversary.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And we have 6 children. Learning to kind of prepare, budget unexpected events with that many kids keeps us, busy and active. We like to do different things like either outdoors, sporting events, other activities that they are involved in with the arts as well.
Great, wonderful. Well, thanks again, Terry, for being part of our presentation today. You're a CFP, Certified Financial Planner, and in addition, you have quite a few designations after your name, and I think it would be interesting for our members to learn a little bit about what is a CFP, what does that mean, why is that important, and maybe a little bit about some of the other designations that you have.
Sure. So the Certified Financial Planner was interesting for me to get just because I wanted to, again, learn more, wanted to be a better financial advisor to the clients that we work with. And so that was one of the things. And then just learning about retirement planning and all the other aspects and how it kind of fits into each of the members' financial situation. So that was the main reason for getting the Certified Financial Planning designation. Some of the other ones were just opportunities to learn, again. So the first one I got was the Chartered Mutual Fund Counselor designation. Again, when I first got into the industry, I didn't know a whole lot about anything, so it kind of forced me to learn. So that's why I got that designation. Some of the other ones were just because of I do put together model portfolios, and so those were a requirement to be able to kind of put together model portfolios.
Excellent. I commend your commitment to learning. This is never changing industry, and the rules and regulations change on a regular basis. I know you just added recently a CEPA designation. Can you talk a little bit about what is that?
So 2 years ago, we went to the Focus Growth Conference. In one of the breakout sessions had that designation, and they talked about conversations that you could have with business owners. And so I thought it would be interesting to, again, kind of learn, be better at asking these questions with business owners that we have. And so went through that process. Basically, it's to help business owners to transition, either selling the business, transitioning it to the next generation, and what their retirement plan would look like, as part of that transition.
Great. I know we're going to touch on that in a little more detail later on. So let's jump in and talk about probably one of the more interesting topics, I guess, when it comes to retirement income planning. That is the mistakes that people make, because as you know, it's a complex process. There are a lot of aspects to retirement income planning. So from your experience dealing with members, Terry, what are some of maybe the more common mistakes that people watching our presentation could hopefully avoid in the future?
I think the biggest one is like just starting too late. Whether it's we're waiting to have no debt or higher income, whatever the reason could be, just starting later. One of the things that I learned from my parents is to always pay yourself first. And so that was one of the things that I learned from early on, is that always put away money first before spending it. So I would say starting late is probably one of the biggest ones that we see most often.
Yeah. And I put up on the screen, everybody has their top 10 lists, and some of these that kind of jump out at me is longevity, underestimating how long you're going to live. I know people often go by how long their parents lived as a gauge, but how does that impact maybe the financial plan, the retirement income plan?
Sure, because sometimes we might be living in retirement 25 to 40 years. And so it becomes a big aspect of the retirement planning, what we may need for retirement income and where the sources of that income come from. There was a study that says that if you and your significant other are still together at age 65, there's a 44% chance that one of you will live into your early to mid-90s.
Yeah, that's interesting. Of course, that risk of running out of money is probably one of the most common fears, I guess.
Sure.
Not mistakes, but common fears that people have. So certainly underestimating your longevity is one of those mistakes. Something else on the list here that people I think often overlook is forgetting healthcare costs. Things like long-term care or other types of out-of-pocket healthcare costs.
Sure.
I'm sure you run into that with your clients as well.
We do. We will go through the different risks that come up, the unexpected events, whether it could be losing a job, having a disability that can no longer work, could be, again, some sort of health-related issue that comes up, could be long-term care. So, just these different life events that can happen and can come up, and we just help our members to kind of prepare for these unexpected events. Because again, life happens, and we don't know what could happen. So, just kind of preparing for these unexpected events.
Exactly. Yeah, it's like holding up a mirror to the client, and this is not only where life is today, but things that could happen in the future as well. Moving on, I know an important part of your process, Terry, and most of our financial advisors use a software product to help with the retirement planning process. Can you talk a little bit about how you use technology and a little bit about your process for retirement income planning?
Sure. It always starts out with the discovery process when we first meet with any of our members, is to basically to understand what's important to them, and also just understand what retirement looks like to them. And because it's not retiring from, it's retiring to something. And so what does retirement look like to you? And everybody can go down a different path as they look at what retirement means and what it is to them. So I think the discovery is always one of the most important aspects of understanding, what's important. From there, as we go through the discovery process, it's utilizing the software to input the data that we have. But more importantly, as, again, life happens, as needs evolve and life unfolds, is that, we can constantly adapt and change and amend, the process as we look at where they're at and what their progress has begun, where they're at. Just utilizing the software to help kind of track our progress as things happen, or some of the variables that we were expecting don't come through, that we can make changes along the way.
Yeah, it's kind of that what-if scenarios. It helps you take some of the guesswork out of the process, where you can be more specific by using historical events to compare against and things like that.
Yes.
So I can see where that's a big help. Another topic that comes up a lot is risk and risk tolerance. And, people have, as you know, different definitions of risk. Can you talk a little about how when you meet with a member, how do you decide, what their risk tolerance is?
Sure.
What might be suitable for them?
It's probably one of the most challenging things, is because, as you mentioned, risk can mean different things to different people. And so it can be market risk, not wanting, the fluctuations. It can be, as you mentioned before, longevity risk, living longer than what we expected. One of the risks that, sometimes we don't think of, but maybe because of, more importantly, what's happened over the last couple of years, is inflation. And so sometimes it's just, investing in something that can keep up with inflation. So when we look at risk, sometimes it's like, well, what have you been doing? To determine have you invested, or has it been investments that have been more non-market related? So part of it starts with the background of what have you been doing. Part of it, we can go through a little bit of a questionnaire to kind of go through to see some questions that we can navigate what risk tolerance might be for them. And then two is sometimes as we do planning for some of the clients and members that want to go through that process, we can see is that they may need to take on a little bit more risk to achieve their goals, or they are fine with where they're at and they might even actually be able to take less risk to achieve their goals. So it's a combination of, see what they've been doing, maybe a questionnaire, maybe see what the plan says of are they on track.
Yeah. And I know one of the benefits, I put up on the screen a shot of Right Capital. It's a nice visual where the member can see, instead of using the terms like conservative, moderate, aggressive,
right.
Right Capital gives them a score. And can you talk a little bit about how that you use that to moderate the risk
Sure.
for a member?
Again, it goes through is like where they're currently at. And after going through the questions, we can see is that in line with what they thought that the risk that they're taking.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you'll hear is that I'm in conservative stocks. And I'm always like, what does that even mean? Conservative stocks. So sometimes it's just going through and asking one more additional question to kind of verify and validate what they truly mean by that. Because it's like that could be more riskier than you think.
Yes.
And going back to historical perspective. So just kind of helps to kind of see if we're in line with what they feel. And sometimes, as we go through is when the stock market is volatile, people's risk tolerances can be less risky in their perception. And when the stock market is going up, it's like, oh, we're fine, we're conservative, and we're doing well. Yeah. And so it's like you might be more aggressive or less aggressive than you think. So it's just good to validate that on an ongoing basis.
Yeah. That's a good process. Skipped ahead a little bit here. Let me go back and talk about, we use the term financial plan. Can you talk a bit about what is a financial plan and why should our members be considering having a plan?
Sure. To me, it's just a roadmap. It's looking at where we want to go and the actions that we can take to get there. And no different if we are, traveling somewhere, whether it's in a vehicle and there's construction and things like that. Some things can come up that we have to divert and go a different path. And so it just goes through, provides us a roadmap to where we want to go. And we can deviate as different things happen in our life, whether incomes change, expenses change, returns change, that we can constantly adapt. So to me, it's just a roadmap that keeps getting updated and changed as every year to track our progress.
Yeah, that's a good way to describe it. And as on the screen, we have a graphic that I won't go into all the detail there, but just like you said, it's really it's a journey. Yeah. And a lot of people think, well, I don't have to worry about retirement income planning until I'm 50 or until I'm 60. But as this graphic shows, a lot of it starts 5 years before you're planning to retire, and then in between that time and when you actually retire, there's a lot to do. Yeah. There's a lot of things that have to be accomplished. So you really need that roadmap. Excuse me. Well, shifting gears just a little bit, let's go back to your SEPA designation, because I know you put a lot of work into that, and we have at Dupaco, we have a lot of small business members that own companies of different sizes, but in particular small business owners. Can you talk a bit about kind of how you address those needs, or maybe what some of the needs that often business owners overlook?
Sure.
in the financial planning process?
Yeah, it's some similarities to just individuals as well. It's having that retirement plan, but adding the aspect of the business into it as well, because most business owners, their wealth and net worth is tied into that business. And sometimes they can't access or extract it until it's sold. And so sometimes we will look at diversification, risk management, ways that they can help to retain, attract, employees, and as they grow, creating those avenues to how they can transition. And so just putting all those aspects together to help them kind of, attract, retain, financial planning as part of not just personal, but also on the business side.
Yeah, it's complex, a little more complex than a personal financial plan. By the way, before I forget, feel free to drop your questions into the chat box if you have anything we've talked about so far, any questions that might come up relating to our topic. We'll be more than happy to address those. Along those lines, Terry, I put on the screen this quote I pulled off of the Exit Planning Institute site. It's kind of interesting. It's 51% of the current American business market is owned by baby boomers who are set to transition over the next 10 years. Only 20 to 30% of businesses that go to market actually sell. 80% without really any solid options to harvest their wealth. So this is another issue that comes up with business owners that I'm sure you run into.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, one of the topics that's left out that maybe we'll wrap up with is life insurance. And not just, I guess life insurance, but insurance in general, I think, is a topic that comes up a lot that people often feel like they don't need or that they don't understand. How do you incorporate life insurance into your planning?
It's one of the areas of risk management that we will look at. So sometimes it's not just the investments, but it can be other risk that we can deal with. Sometimes, as you mentioned, it can be life insurance. Sometimes most people overlook disability. Your greatest asset is your ability to earn an income, but if you become disabled, then you're no longer able to create that income. And so sometimes just having these conversations around some of these risks, whether it be disability, could be life insurance if we pass away too soon. Sometimes it's an area where it's not always fun to talk about. And so it's sometimes neglected or overlooked. And so sometimes just going through is, if you were to pass away, could your partner or spouse continue to live in the same home or the same lifestyle? And so sometimes the answer is no. They may have to move or do something different or downsize. And so sometimes it's just having enough life insurance to replace an income so that their surviving family members, don't have to get up and do something completely different, that they can, know that they're taken care of.
Yeah, and it's very, complex. I guess the uses can be complex, but one of the things that, of course, we've learned over the years is the different uses of life insurance and the problems that it can solve within the confines of a financial plan. And then, of course, don't forget vehicle insurance, property insurance, and of course, we are fortunate at Dupaco to have our Dupaco insurance services that can address those insurance needs as well. One more thing, we can't really finish up here without talking about Social Security and its impact, one of the legs of the three-legged stool, so to speak, of retirement income. Talk a bit about Social Security and its importance in the financial plan.
Sure.
With retirement income plan.
So like when my parents were working, there was no 401ks. So they had their pension and then the Social Security. And so, the expectancy was to pay off all your debt, retire, and then live off of your Social Security and your pension. Social Security was never intended to fully replace, your income in retirement. And so now we look at where it's at today. When we look at planning for this, we try to make it more conservative to the output so that it's not covering all of our expenses and things like that. But it's one aspect of retirement income. And so, for those that don't have pensions, they'll either need to have investments or some other sort of savings accounts to be able to generate or create income in retirement as well. So I think the biggest thing is that we don't know what it will be for younger generations. Could be longer before they can access to it, so it keeps getting pushed back, so that could continue. So just trying to plan for a small portion of Social Security as your overall retirement income.
Yeah, and I think that's the key is hopefully the younger generations will do a better job of planning and won't have to rely on Social Security as much as my generation, the baby boomer generation, because as you said, changes are probably in the mix in the future for Social Security. Hard to say what that's going to look like, but it will probably look a lot different 10 years from now, 5 years from now than it does today. But nonetheless, very important part of the financial planning process. Well, so much more to talk about, but I think we've run up against our time today for the workshop. So Terry, first of all, thank you very much for sharing your knowledge with us. And if you are interested in learning more or meeting with one of our Dupaco financial advisors, you can go to our website, dupaco.com, the financial services link. There's a link there that says meet with us, and you can actually schedule a time to meet with a financial advisor. Or you can call us, the number's on the screen, and we'll be more than happy to schedule a free, there's no cost to meeting with a financial advisor, and be happy to discuss your situation and help you develop your retirement income plan. So thanks again for joining us on this very special annual meeting presentation. It's been our pleasure to be with you and to share your time, and we hope that we can serve you in the future. Thanks again.